Hello and welcome to another episode of Honest to a Mole with myself, Duncan, and Mike, aka Two Puds. Mike, big day's coming up for you. What is? He's shaking his head, right? That's why I laughed. What is the name of the episode today, my friend?
Today's episode is episode 28, and it's called Scotch Bonnet on the Rocks.
Nice. So what's it going to be about then?
It's about the spicy food and the whiskey.
The spicy food. So Italian synonymous with spicy food.
Arboretta. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Don't want to offend anybody else.
Probably mixed up some Italian food with a type of motorbike there or a brand, but close enough.
So, yeah. Those Ducati chilies are really
spicy meatballs.
Really spicy. Yeah. So probably be a bit of a shorter pod today, given the fact that you've got a lot going on in your life. You're a few days away from a significant event. I understand.
Yeah. Mini-me lands this weekend. Well, I say lands, gets removed this weekend.
Because obviously that's how babies are delivered. They're delivered by stalk, aren't they?
Well, the stalk's getting ripped open by a surgeon. So yeah, Saturday's the day.
Have you decided which pub you're going to be at on the day when it's happening?
Well, I've been warned to go nowhere near the pub. I wasn't aware that you had to sleep in the hospital with your significant other when these things happened.
I thought they didn't allow that to happen these days.
Yeah, we'll see. I've got a camping mat ready, but if I happen to get sent home, then, I mean, it would be a shame to drive 20 minutes to my king-size bed. Or super king, let's be honest.
Super king.
Super king. I need to fit my massive head in it.
You're going to need some sleep. It's important.
Exactly.
It's going to be hard work for you.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, dear me.
Yeah. It could be like the new theme of the pod. It's whiskey and it's like therapy for dads.
Yeah. Well, we are going to do an episode upcoming, aren't we, on dad, seeing as you're going to be a dad now with another dad, Ben, Whiskey with Molly.
Yep.
And also probably talk about the doggos as well in that one. So
hell yeah.
To that whenever we get that scheduled in.
I was going to say I'm already a dad. I've got Barley. So
right.
Yeah. Barley the Frocker.
Yeah. They just don't talk back, dogs. So difference there.
Yeah.
The first 6 months is really easy. Just cruise the first 6 months.
Whatevs.
So, what's been in your glass in this last few days, then, Mike?
Go on, Mike. Tell us. We're dying to hear. What have you been drinking this week? What has been in your glass?
What has been in my glass is I've done a Glasgow whiskey tasting. That was arranged again by Steve Rush, just permanently giving me free drams to review. I'm loving it. You can't beat these tweet tastings.
Ah, man, he's what a God's work he's doing.
I know he is. He really is. He's got his automatic entry to the pearly gates. It was a really good tasting. They were all sort of new drams. They had some cask strength versions of their normal stuff. They had cask strength extra peated, cognac casks, beer finished cask, which I liked remarkably. Some people didn't. As per your tasting on Blind Drums a little while ago.
I don't get the hate. I don't get the non-love for beer finished whiskey.
Yeah, it was decent. But I was quite impressed by the whole lineup, to be fair. The peated cask strength was mega. Like, absolutely hands down.
This was Glasgow, 1770s.
Glasgow Distillery, yeah. Hopefully,
so you'd recommend that peated cask one? I did see
peated cask strength. Because the normal cask, like the normal peated stuff, is like good, but that extra ABV really elevated that to like.
What made it so good versus other peated whiskey? What was it that stood out then?
Oh, again, I'm not comparing it to like other whiskey. It was just like a really good peated dram, and in comparison to the usual Glasgow lineup, which is decent anyway, it was hands down
just stood out.
Stood out for me, miles above everything in that lineup, miles above anything they've put out previously. That is now should be their flagship, in my humble opinion.
I mean, I've tried a few. Yeah. I doubt they'll make a cask strength whiskey their flagship, but it seems unlikely, doesn't it?
Very unlikely, yeah.
What's been up your arse? What's been up your arse in this week?
Well, distilleries not making cask strength peated whiskey their flagship whiskey.
It's 46% nonsense.
Yeah, no. What has been at my arse? I mean, the NHS has been at my arse fully. One misplotted scan has caused 2 weeks of absolute chaos in my house. Only to then be told, like yesterday, going, "Oh no, it was a little error. It's all okay. Everything's fine." I'm like,
I didn't know that. So in the end, it was nothing.
No, absolutely nothing. Yeah. They've just done a scan wrong. So yeah,
anxiety off the charts for 2 weeks.
Yeah, Lara was ready to murder someone when she went into the hospital, and they were all like, "Oh, it's all okay now." I'm like, "Oh no, you've unleashed the beast. Like, you're going to get a little sample of what I get at the moment." So, yeah. No,
Did you go? This is what she's like. See, I told you.
Someone help me.
Get this on video.
Yeah, no, it's been a stressful.
It's a difficult ride. It's hormones, isn't it? And everything.
Yeah.
Most important event of your life, other than getting married.
Yeah. Welsh Grand Slam.
Imagine if it was like Wales in the final on the day that's happening.
Well, I said to her,
you had to choose between the two.
Imagine we're having an afternoon session with the surgeon, and I went, "Oh, that's all right, babe. I can hold the phone for you, and you can watch Wales v Georgia." She was not happy in the slightest.
Raging.
But yeah, man. How about you? What's been in your glass?
Well, I opened up a bottle of Booker's Lumberyard.
Anything from Booker's is amazing.
I think I got it for £50 or £55 from auction. And truth be told, I can't remember which one it is. I'd have to look it up. But I remember thinking that was all right plus fees. And I think it's about 7 or 8 years old. And it's one of the batches, batch 2. I'd have to check the bottle, but oh my days, it is outstanding.
But don't forget, 7 or 8 in bourbon years is so much more like accelerated aging.
Yeah, because
obviously it hasn't got the chemical breakdown of the barrel you get with like an old Burbs cask and stuff, and just nice, cool climate.
It's not going through all kinds of weird stuff. It's still a bourbon,
Yeah,
bourbon. It's still a straight up bourbon cask, but it's quite delicious and intense at the same time, quite rich, but yet still just really easy to drink. And I know that's like a cliche thing to say, but it's really tasty. It's one of those ones that you can easily in fact, I've actually already taken a fair chunk out of the bottle. I think that at 62%, that tells you all you need to know. And I'm already
they're basically
thinking,
like handpicked. The special barrels in special places. They know where these good like barrels are. And they're picking them just for these releases. If I ever get I remember picking one up in duty free in New York, and it was $50, and I was like, I was being shifty, taking it up to the till. I thought I was like, "Oh, they've mispriced this. Am I going to get away with it?" And they're just looking at me like, "Yeah, go on." I was like, "Can I have another one?" They were like, "Yeah," and it was like, "Yeah, I've had a few Bookers." That's so Knob
That's
Creek
my first one that I've had a whole bottle of.
The Knob Creek bourbon. Again, doesn't really get talked about that much because everyone talks about 101 and Eagle Rare and everything else. I know I'm one of them. But Knob Creek is widely available in bars. People laugh because it's got knob in it, so it's instantly good. It's funny.
Right.
But it's really good whiskey. Yeah. But it's Jim Beam. It's just Jim Beam whiskey elevated.
I've heard the stories about you going out to bars and only ordering Knob Creek.
Yeah.
Can I have Knob Creek? That's what you would do. That's exactly the kind of thing you would do.
And so Booker's is just that next level up. So you've gone from all your Jim Beam labels to your Knob Creek labels. That is then that's their wild turkey rare breed. It's the Blanton's equivalent.
I mean, I've really enjoyed that so far, and also I had a bit more of the Glenmorangie. Glenmorangie Warehouse Edition Oloroso one. Whatever.
You're loving that. You've been drinking that a lot.
Yeah. Well, it's now got into the danger zone, to the last third, so I'm now going to see it off. And I also had a bit of that SMWS Fire Festival American, which I love too. And they're probably the only 3 whiskies I can really remember having this week, which doesn't mean there wasn't more. It just means they're the ones that I remember. Today I'm drinking Aaron 10 from 2015. Nice. One that I picked up for £10 that time that really upset you.
Oh, don't. I'm still angry now.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. And I don't think anything's been really annoying me this week. Maybe just doing this. Maybe just walking back with other parents on the school run. That's about it.
Have you reached the age? Because I know I have, where I've got a very set friends list now, and I'm not interested in adding anyone to that list. I've got
I'm open to that. No,
I'm not.
I'm open.
I'm
open to that.
like, you've gone in, someone's gone. I said this to Laura today in the car. So when, obviously
one in, one out.
We're having a baby now. I'm gonna have to interact with her, so someone's got to go. She was like, "What are you on about?" I was like, "I've got a very short list of people I can be bothered to interact with. Someone's gonna have to go."
You like a man today was reported in the park crossing a name off a list. Have you seen this man?
Yeah,
in his Welsh
my
rugby
neighbour
shirt.
just this morning.
Yeah.
Like, morning, Mike. Whatever.
Yeah. Someone ever sets you up, they'll find that list and they'll find the names crossed off it. You'll be in trouble. So pretty much that. Pretty much. And also Leo the dog. It has been annoying me because, and I've talked about sometimes how Leo can be a bit annoying. As he's getting older, he's only 6. He really digs in. He doesn't weigh that much. He only weighs about 8.5 kilograms. But I feel like he's got the neck strength of a rhino. So as you're walking around with him, now he insists. He gets plenty of walks, by the way.
Yeah.
He insists. He's like, I must smell that. And then he puts absolutely everything into it. Dips his head, shoulders, just tries to pull you back. Like he digs in. And I'm like, who does he think he is?
That's because he knows you're going to rip him away from the sniff.
Obviously, I can pull him away from the sniff if I want to, but I feel bad. So I end up now. I used to just be able to. He would just come on, but as he's got sort of older and more cantankerous, he now digs in. I end up walking back with him, and I don't mean like 3 steps. It could be like walking like half a minute back down the road.
Oh, what?
And I'm like, these walks are just taking longer and longer. So that's probably the most annoying thing at the moment. Yeah, to the degree where sort of Maria and I between us sort of say, "You're going to walk in." It's a bit frustrating.
Daycare, mate. Get them in daycare.
It's very expensive, Mike.
It is, but like they come back like practically dead.
They do. They love it as well, don't they?
Yeah,
that's true.
He gets all this sniffing out of gets everything. Yeah.
So yeah, in other news, I saw on Twitter, Avon Whiskey River guy, who can only assume he works for Avon, likes whiskey, and lives in a river. Otherwise, how else was that name constructed? Yeah, sells cosmetics.
He actually lives on the Cutty Sark. He was there the other night. He was sailing.
He was there. Yeah, he's dressed as a pirate. Yeah, so he's a good lad. He's on Twitter, and he said the other day that his wife asked him how much money he'd spent on whiskey. There's a whole thread of people.
Oh,
and he said, "What would you say?" There's a whole thread of people, obviously hilarious men, making poor taste jokes. Fair enough. People giving serious life advice. I just said, I would say I can't remember. I was drunk.
Yeah, I was drunk when I bought it. I got no idea. I got asked today, actually. So Lara's old man was on the phone to her and heard me in the background, and I could hear him shout something on the phone. She was like, "Oh, did you get the Cooper King whiskey?" Because Cooper King up in Yorkshire is just coming of age. So they're about to release I think their founder's whiskey is coming out. So I think I was a founder, signed up for them when I went up there ages ago. So I think you get a free bottle as a founder, but then you got the opportunity to buy their inaugural release for like everyone. So I bought one of those, and he was asking me if I'd bought one. And Laura was like, "How much was that?" And I was like, 85? Just tell her the truth. And she went, "That's not bad." I was like, "Isn't it?" She went, "No, not really." I went, "Good to know. Good to know."
Interesting. Yeah.
That's my bar raised for purchases again. Like things I can get away with.
Next time,
I can always go back and state your case.
Just go, it was 172. See what she says.
Just be like, 95. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's only 10 more than the Cooper King you said was fine.
But you don't know. You don't know you're definitely safe yet. You wait. It could just be a few days, especially with the old baby brain going on. She got 85. Did you say £8.50 or 85?
It'll be when it'll come out is like when I moan about spending 30p on something, and that'll be that.
The other answer that I thought would have been good to have given would have been, it's not how much I've spent on whiskey, it's how much I haven't spent on whiskey. You see this house around us?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
You see the car?
I know when that's going to come up is when I moan about, I don't know, buying something for like £4.
A Mars bar.
Yeah.
I'm not buying that Mars bar.
I'm not buying that. It's like, I'm not buying a Mars bar from the hospital. It's £2. You spent £85 on whiskey the other day.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't believe this. I can't believe this panini £7.50. I refuse. £5 maximum for a sandwich. That type of thing.
Unless it's
right?
Yeah, I'll pay £1 for every hour it's been made. Sandwich.
Yeah,
that's my 10-year equivalent.
For every year it's been in storage.
Yeah.
How old is this panini? 5 years. I'll take it.
Oh God. Yeah. So, yeah, I know it's going to come back and bite me in the arse, but yeah, it is what it is.
So then on to the main subject of the pod today then, which is, well, it's pretty much like, this is something that I've wondered about for a while, and I've managed to convince you we should do a pod about it. But since getting all nerdy and serious about whiskey, I have reduced my consumption of eating chilies, right?
Yeah.
And it's mostly just through like information that I've heard people saying, like, it affects tasting and all that kind of stuff, and be careful. And also something I think to do with like Jim Murray, the whiskey Bible guy, saying that he never has curry when he's tasting whiskey.
That's because he's too busy being sexist.
Yes, too busy writing erotic whiskey notes. So, so I sort of thought, well, why don't we do like an experiment where we actually have loads of chili for dinner and then try a whiskey that we know really well. So I've got Aaron 10, which I've been sipping, I've been doing this and nosing, and see, does it really affect our tasting experience? Because when we're getting into these, like, you probably haven't, maybe I'm the only person that's been adjusting my chili eating levels. Maybe everybody else is just smashing curries and having whatever they feel like.
Yeah,
I think me.
I feel that's definitely the case, Duncan. I'll be honest. I've never even considered not changing what I eat that much if I was going to do like a tasting or something.
I feel like I should. Maybe I got like spammed with like some sort of weird Facebook adverts or something like that. Some sort of Facebook propaganda about chili and affecting taste buds or something. I don't know.
It obviously will affect it, I think, but I would
think.
say,
but did you? But what did you? So what did you have for dinner then today?
So I had a mashed potato, peas with chicken tenders, but absolutely like all I could taste was hot sauce, basically. covered in Frank's hot sauce. I even made put truffle oil through the mash just to make it nice, and then it just tasted like hot sauce.
For the purposes of science, how long ago was that now?
That was, what time did that? That was 2 hours ago, or two and a bit hours ago.
Yeah, I probably had dinner about 2.5 hours ago. So that's quite close, isn't it? To trying the whiskey. I did chicken goujons, runner beans, Korean rice cakes. It's quite interesting, and garlic mushrooms. So I overthrew some garlic in there as well, and then I covered it with like hot chili flakes, jalapenos, and then afterwards I still had some rice cakes left, some Korean rice cakes left, and I had it with like spicy mango chutney, which is really spicy. And I have to be honest,
feeling the impact?
Well, I can feel it on my tongue a bit, but nosing and trying the whiskey just tastes like normal. I still get all the vanilla and citrus notes. It just feels totally normal to me. I feel like I've had an epiphany.
The only thing I'd say is a bit elevated. Now, you get a bit of spice in the Aaron sherry cask just from the oak. I feel like that, whether that's now psychological because it's the word spice, but I feel like the gingery sort of notes that you might pick up on a whiskey are slightly elevated.
So maybe it makes the spice stand out a bit more, if that's what you're saying.
Yeah. I think so. But other than that, I can't really tell any difference between that normally and now.
Well, obviously we do a bit of research on this pod. So I had a bit of a look online at some articles written by like wine magazines and that kind of stuff. We can reference them in the pod description. And they basically said that capsicum, is it? Or
yep.
How do you say the chili? Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yeah, or capacin or something. Whatever it is that they call the technical term for like chili, right? Or chili heat. It doesn't affect your sense of smell or taste buds at all. but it does affect the pain fibers around the tongue. And this was the bit I read a bunch of stuff that I thought was most interesting, but they regenerate, so it's never going to cause long-term damage. So it's not true it could give you any kind of like irrevocable or irreversible damage. But after 15 minutes, it kind of sort of dissipates.
Yeah.
And it's more to do with the confusion. So like the way one article described it said, it's like if you dropped a brick on your toe, and you were like trying to taste whiskey, you wouldn't taste as good because you'd be distracted by the fact you dropped a brick on your toe.
True.
And it's the same thing. Like if you've had like really hot chilies on your tongue and they've like numbed your tongue or affected your mouth in some way, it's just a distraction. You can still actually taste what's going on. Yeah. It's just distracting your brain. It's distracting your brain, right?
Interesting.
You're like more worried about the fact that you're distracted by the fact your tongue feels weird.
Yeah.
And I feel that kind of is kind of the case.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe it is all psychological.
I think it possibly is. Maybe if you have like really spicy, like really excessively spicy chili, I
feel like it's probably going to do more internal damage than it does to your actual taste.
Well, that's a whole different thing, isn't it? If you've been on an absolute session and had loads of high strength alcohol, and you've eaten loads of chilies, you've got a recipe for like the worst reflux ever.
Oh, mate, I went to a place down in Hoxton that does wings. Really, really good stuff. But they always hide, or you've got the option to hide one, like it's called a Viper sauce.
Yeah.
And it is like death, essentially. And my stomach just does not enjoy too much spice. And literally, I'll just sit there and nearly vom. I remember doing something in work once, years ago, when you were allowed to do things. We used to get new starters to do a challenge. And they had to, when we finish work, we go to the pub, and all the new people would have to go to the shop down the road, get a bottle of Tabasco, neck it, run 500 meters, and then come back to the pub. And then just carry on drinking. It is horrendous. I did it. I just ran, went back to work, threw up, went back to the pub. By the time everyone else had finished their 500 meters, so I was like, all fine. And then they just suffer for the rest of the night. And it's like, why do you put yourself through these stupid little challenges? But chili just ruins my insides. And I've learned my lesson from that one.
It'll mess you up for the next day for sure if you have too much.
Oh, yeah.
That's only if you have like I think at Kendal Whiskey Festival last year, on the way back when I was absolutely annihilated, walking back to where I was staying at this B&B guest house, I ordered a chili and I told the guy it wasn't spicy enough. So he put loads of actual just freshly diced chilies on top, like really hot.
Oh, nice.
Like bird's eye chilies or something like that, quite spicy one. And I was just destroyed the next day. Like,
were
it was a total wreck.
Pretending to be hard and that it's all right, I love spice, I can take it all.
It gives you a rush, doesn't it? I can eat it at the time, it's like you said, but I can eat it at the time, that's fine. But the next day, right, I was in a world of pain. Right? Oh, really bad.
I just like get a sweaty mess, like awful.
I stumbled across, when I was doing a bit of research, I stumbled upon this this article, and I've no idea how this came up, but in searching for whatever, it was daughter films radiologist, father eating world's hottest curry. And it's like from 2013 or something.
Yeah.
Basically, it was a curry house that launched a curry called the Widower Curry. And in it, they put 20 Infinity Naga chilies. Apparently, it's like a 4 million Scoville chili. A small teaspoon of pure Naga extract, 6 million Scovilles, because that's how they measure, isn't it? Listen, as if that wasn't bad enough, 5 Scotch bonnets, right?
Amazing.
8 finger chilies, 3 teaspoons of extra hot chili powder,
and a partridge in a pear tree,
chopped onions, a tablespoon of salt, and someone calls an ambulance for you then and there. So this guy, apparently, like very few people have actually eaten this curry.
Yeah,
that sort of stacks up, right? I was just actually looking at where it is. More than 300 people at the time had tackled that Widower Curry, including 10 ladies, it says, but no one's ever been able to finish one except for this guy, and this is why it ended up in the news. And it's at
don't tell me he died.
It's in Grantham, Lincolnshire, at a Bindi restaurant. I don't know. I don't really know how I stumbled across it, but I mean, I have. We've all done it when we've been out, and you go, "Oh, I'll have the spiciest thing."
Yeah.
And it depends on the place. and it's usually sort of mixed with kind of regret. But I've never tried anything really daft like that. You know, when you're on TV, you watch the competitions of people eating like chilies. You must have seen that.
Yeah. I commented on one the other day, and
did you?
I was like, I can't. The guy was at the Wings Festival, and the guy who was doing it was called Lee, and he was all like doing his bravado stuff, and pretty shortly afterwards, he's crying and throwing up, and I just put, "This is Lee. Don't be like Lee." And the likes were just flying up on this thing. And then
was this Instagram, was it?
Yeah, and then Lee replied when it was horrendous, and I was like, "Oh my god, you're the actual Lee."
The Lee.
Yeah, the Lee that nearly died.
So overall, having done a bit of research, I actually bothered to do some research and not just, I don't know how I got convinced myself that it was a bad idea. And now done this wee science experiment. I think I'm just going to start eating chili again normally because it's just really good for you. And I feel like I've been like swerving it on days when I was going to do like blind drams and things like that. You know, so I don't know. I
definitely think you overthink your tasting. Like you're like uber serious, uber pro, whereas I'm like, yeah, I'll have a bite of chili con carne while I'm doing the tasting. What are you getting?
Well, maybe that's why you was just
coconut.
Yeah, coconut. Coconut. What's the other one you say all the time?
Cumin. Yes.
I told you that I bought that cheesecake, didn't I? That your favorite.
You bought
cheesecake,
New York cheesecake. Yeah.
So I could try it.
It wasn't baked though, was it?
I know it was from a supermarket. Does that not count?
No, not really.
I need to get it baked from somewhere.
You need like a baked New York cheesecake. They're quite like specialist to get the proper ones. Don't get me wrong, okay. You will have had an experience, but you're basically coming at me offering famous grouse when we're talking about some nice single malts in the cheesecake world. That's what you've done.
Fair enough.
I appreciated the nod, but also very disappointed at the same time in you.
Brilliant. And I'm the negative one. So
can't mess with my pudding.
We'd be interesting to know if other listeners of the pod eat chili or dodge it on days of tasting. Basically, you know, do you swerve it? Are you careful? Are you there going, no? Someone's like, oh, do you want to have? I don't know. Do you want to have the curry for lunch? And you're like, well, obviously not korma. Korma's a rubbish, but whatever it's like a jalfrezi or something or a madras. And you're like, no, I can't do that. I've got a tasting later. Or
there's always a place for korma, mate.
Well, no, there isn't.
Yeah, there is.
Please don't say that.
I don't mind a korma. Nothing wrong with it. There's an absolute place for it.
This is a person that hasn't watched The Godfather, hasn't watched The Sopranos, hasn't watched The Wire, eats korma.
Hasn't watched The Wire. Excuse me.
American. Duncan. Oh, contagion.
Oh, you have watched The Wire.
Oh.
Okay, right. Fair enough.
Yeah,
1 out of
5. Yeah. No, there's a place for korma, mate. There's a place for korma. Always.
So, have you never seen that Gavin and Stacey episode when, I mean, you should have done because you're...
Smithy.
Yeah, Smithy. When they're ordering in curry and someone says, oh, should we just put them in the show? And he goes, hang on.
Nope.
And then he says, I bet you ordered a korma, didn't you? And like, yeah, I did. You're like, I don't want to share. I want my own food. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'll eat in the car.
To be
That's
fair,
how I feel about korma.
Food. Yeah.
That's how I feel about korma.
I don't mind if I get a curry. You can always just order the sauce on the side. So nothing wrong with having a bit of korma to dip your naan bread in. It's a nice little break from a nice spicy curry.
So it's like you're having the korma to calm things down.
It's just like a side. Yeah.
They're like, do you want some yogurt? They're like, do you want some yogurt? You're like, no, I'll just have a korma.
Have a korma, please, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't need the yogurt. Is it too spicy for you? Can you put some korma on top of my curry,
I want
please?
A lamb
just to calm it down.
Half and half with a side of korma sauce.
Yeah.
That's a Welsh thing. Do you know what half and half is?
Well, it's a drink.
No. Chips and rice. If you're in Wales or Cardiff especially, go to a curry house, you're like, we'll have a booner and half and half.
Okay.
Half chips, half rice, curry.
I do know in Manchester they're very fond of chip naans. Have you had a chip naan?
And Grandad.
So carbs is pretty rocking. So if you put chips in a naan, especially with a bit of cheese and maybe like some chilies.
Oh,
very on topic.
Yeah.
Now you're talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went for a stage of, there's a local world food supermarket that does amazing fresh bread. I haven't bought any for a while, but I went for a stage of going there and buying like really large fresh flatbreads.
I was going to say,
like,
you've got loads in the cupboard still from last time you went.
No, then just making like really giant, like kind of rolled up sandwich type things. Like chucking in like fish fingers, chilies, like bit of coriander, avocado, little sprinkle of mayonnaise.
Oh,
like
really showing your London side now, mate. I'll have a sourdough with some expensive fish fingers, please.
No, it wasn't sour. It's not sourdough. It's like freshly made flatbread.
Oh, fair dues.
It's like kind of like a sort of naan without the spice.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's really good. But anyway, the point is, I've really dialed back my chili consumption. I'm just going to dial it straight up now. Don't care.
Yeah.
Next time I'm doing blind drams, Brian, just for Brian to know.
Yeah.
I would have had a madras an hour before we start. Just saying.
Should we do that actually? Next time we do blind drams, we'll have a madras before it.
Yeah, an hour before.
Just as like, what can you taste? And it'll be like a complete reversal of today. It'd be like, can't taste anything.
I'll probably just have the madras, and if it all gets a bit much, I'll just put a bit of korma sauce on the top to calm it down.
Exactly, yeah. Just stir a little bit into your samples, into your whiskey. There we go. Yeah. Bringing it back.
I'm not sure I'll be mixing whiskey and curry. That sounds a bit obvious, but
hey, two things that taste nice. They go back.
Maybe I definitely think that whiskey goes with pretty much anything. I don't think there's anything it doesn't go with. So, can have whiskey with a curry, no problem.
Maybe you could do that. Like again, like going down the food experiment, throwing.
Well, we said we were going to do a curry episode. I think we have to do. We have, but
curry infused whiskey.
Maybe I actually picked up off
whiskey infused curry. Yeah, that's more like it.
I've picked up off whiskey chap Barry. Yeah. Some single source from an Avery honey infused with whiskey.
I saw that.
I think I'm getting like 4 jars from him because that screams to me good Christmas present.
That does.
I'll have a couple, and Barry has said, though he hasn't recently responded, but hopefully I can pick the whiskies. So we'll see.
Oh, nice.
It'd be good to get different whiskies in each one, wouldn't it?
Yeah. That'd be like a honey tasting setup.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love that.
You can have a toast in the morning. Like, we're doing a flight. Honey flight.
A flight of honey. I bet you can make some really good cocktails, or adjust garnish or adjust some sort of cocktails with that. I would have thought a little bit of honey. Maybe I'll use the honey to try to make a really interesting old fashioned or something.
Good on porridge as well.
Oh, especially coming into winter season. I should have got 6 jars. I asked him. I said, I'll have one. He said, all right. I said, how many have you got? He went, what do you mean how many have I got? I said, well, how many have you got?
Typical you, just buying everything. Standard, clear the shelves out. Duncan 6 jars.
Yeah, someone contacted me. Someone's bought them all. Yeah. I'll open up my whiskey shop selling them for double the price.
Yeah, what he does, he'll post about it on the internet then once he's bought them all. Once it's sold out, then he'll share his tip.
I think I might celebrate the birth of your new baby by opening up a bottle of that Loch Lomond 18, which was £58.
Well, this is the other thing. I've got to decide what I'm going to open special to celebrate.
Oh, yes, you do. What are you thinking so far?
I don't know. I've got like an old, I think it's a 32-year-old Macduff 1982 bottling.
Hey, up the Duff, Macduff, that would work.
Yeah, it's kind of all there, isn't it? So, I don't know. It hurts me that one because it's just been like, it's in a lovely mahogany box lined with like carpet and stuff.
Have you got any?
Really
you've got some really good bottles open. Have you got any Tamdhu 18?
No, 15. Thank you for the Tamdhu note. Ka-ching! Sponsorship back in. No, I haven't got any Tamdhu 18. Don't know. I'll have to see.
What type of whiskey do you fancy having to celebrate? Like a classy sherried one, or like an old ex-Burbs cask?
It's got to be a peated one. Because at the moment, I think I've managed to get the name Isla past my wife. So, naming the child after
we discussed this. My wife also really likes that name, so we could end up with the same child.
Yeah.
name.
Well, if you want to call it like Lafroig or Jura, you can just do the
Jura.
island next door. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll call it Bunnahaven. It's catchy and it's short, to be fair.
Yeah, no, I'll have to like find something or maybe buy a little special Isla bottling master malt down the road. So
I'll have to see.
I've got 24 hours to think about that one.
You haven't decided 100% yet on the name, or you have decided?
So I've decided.
You don't have to say.
No, Isla.
Right, so it is decided.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a lovely name.
But she could still change it because it's last minute and everything, you know. Like,
I don't think she will.
I don't think she will. I'm also trying to convince her to do a Welsh middle name now as well. So
you settle on a name, and then you've known that person already for a while before they've even been born. I feel like once you've settled on a name, I think naming them earlier is a really good thing.
That's what, and I mean, the perfect excuse to get the whole family over to Isla.
100%. You have to go. You have to go.
You have to go. This is what you were named after. Your mum hasn't quite worked it out yet, but this is why you were named what you are.
What's a good Welsh name then? Welsh lady's name?
Ma'am.
I genuinely don't know any. Is like
there's loads.
Peggy?
To be fair, Peggy. What?
I don't know.
No.
No idea.
You got like Cariad.
Cariad
means
Cariad. Okay, nice.
Vion is
Mike a Welsh name then? Just out of interest,
Mike. Mihangel would be the Welsh name.
Mihangel.
Yeah. Duncan in Welsh is 6 jars.
That's what it means.
In Welsh,
it means six jars of honey. That's what it means.
Sounds like in English 6 jars of honey, but in Welsh it's 6 jars.
6 jars.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wish you all the best. I hope it goes well.
Yes. So by the time this gets released, I will be sleep deprived and struggling. So
just a heads up, I always go round to see new babies. So at some point I will be crashing in on your joint. Obviously I will check with you to come and say hello to the baby and say congratulations. That's what I do.
Excellent. By all means,
it's the most important event in your life.
With a 15 or 18, it's fine. That's the entrance policy.
Hey, Paul's got the 18 at the moment. I'm going to get Paul over. I can bring something decent,
Yeah. Hey, as long as it's smoky, as I said, Isla is the theme. So, yeah.
All right. Good. Well, wish you the best of luck then. And there will be, wish you best of luck. Look forward to catching up with you in person soon.
Yeah, man. And we'll crash our heads together at some point and get another one going. It's entirely possible I'll fall asleep on the next pod. So
you're being so over dramatic. You're going to they sleep like 20 hours a day to start off with. They're barely awake. You've got 6 months of doing whatever you want. After that, talk to me. You come to me. Talk to me after that. You talk to me. First 6 months is so easy. What parents do is the smart ones, they take them to the pub, they go out, and then you just do as much as you can in the first 6 months, and then after 6 months. Then it becomes like, okay, now it's a big deal.
Now it's a nightmare.
Not a nightmare. Then they start to do stuff. It's really fun. But then you can't just do anything you want. You have to be a bit more sort of considered. And at a year, they can be quite lively. 18 months, 2 years. By the time you get to like 3.
What's an appropriate age to teach them how to wash glasses and pour good-sized drams sensibly?
You can only really do that 3 months before they've learned to use nunchucks.
Nunchucks? Like
Nunchucks. Chucky the nun.
Large nuns.
Well, if they've got the hand dexterity and eye coordination to use nunchucks, then they'll be fine to pour a dram, won't they? Get on it. I don't know. You're going to have a girl, aren't you? So they're usually really helpful. So fingers crossed for you.
Excellent. That'd be amazing. Just to help him pour my drams. But love it. Well, thank you for the well wishes. And I look forward to recording one with a bit of a good news update. Touch wood.
All right. Thanks, Mike. Well, as always, follow us on Honest to a Malt. If you haven't, follow the podcast on Spotify or Apple or whatever it is you're listening to it on, and give us a 5-star review if you're feeling kind. Thanks very much. And
if you're
we'll see you on the next
leave
pod.
a bad one. We'll see you on the next one.
Find that person.
Cheers.
Cheers, bye.
Bye.